It's my pleasure to introduce Nikky Finney. There's a few things I just want to say quickly. One is that I was also in a workshop that Nikky ran, and I think it was the first time that I understood the sort of seriousness with which we might take this work. And that felt like an obligation and a charge. And frankly, it feels like a sort of a necessity, which is what Nikky also reminded us, that poetry is not a luxury. She introduced so many of us to such importance. So anyway, you know, she's like the heart. She's like the chamber in the heart, the big chamber, makes all the blood flow. She's our dear. Welcome, Nikky Finney.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Epigraph. After the great runaway slave poster exhibit, after Zora, who refused to be exhibited. Yellow. One yellow gal with a black tongue on a white horse is missing. She is thick and well-made, walks erect like a high-rise in a small town, speaks fluent Negro, tells a plausible story, talks generously to herself. Last seen wearing John's black trousers and my good red fedora, recently shipped back from Paris. Cleans house and yard the same, poorly, and with an uninterested half sweep. Is best at the muck of field work, has a mule's disposition, a stubborn countenance, carries a sing-songy, whiny voice while telling a colorful story. Does my girl's hair up all shiny with her snake oil concoctions. Picks and files my nails clean, but only when I threaten to take her quill away. Best table-serving Negro gal I ever owned. Nosy and nervous. She likes to be amongst fine things and people. All crowd to listen in on the clicking conversation her tongue can make when allowed. Sing when she's hauling, hum when she's standing still. High cheekbones which she prefers to adorn with coal teased down to putty by the fire. And the pumpkin pollen of flowers. She's prone to play with long-stemmed cotton stolen from the field, wears a necklace of petrified boll weevil casings, what she calls her field pearls. Been whipped and whipped again for assigning every Negro on the place a birthday and for making floral arrangements for herself and setting them in her windowsill. Won't sleep without a tick of cane sugar tucked beneath her tongue. 1,500 is what I'm offering. The horse can be replaced. The yellow gal cannot. Bought and pulled out of her mother's arms when she was 2, a woman who is past 30 now. She's quick to tell how she was born in the right body, but to the wrong world. Beaten, as I said, good and often, most every day to no avail, for laughing in the face of every should-be crying thing. Believing every day she is good as my own 2 girls. She moves with a swiveling, dancing gait and dwells only in her own make-believe mind, all her entertaining, impossible, all black worlds laid out like bustle skirts and velvet, if you listen close. Around her neck, in the front, you will find a bag of fresh garlic. In the back, dangling, rides a second sachet of rose petals, all of it on hanging on a catgut cord. Won't matter if you cut it away before bringing her back. She will have another resting there by morning. She won't deny herself. No matter how much I whip or send her back to the tree box for the week, she will steal what she can't have, make what she can't steal, and you know you have the right yellow one when you turn her hands face up to the sun and find her palms blue, black, and streaked like a good pottery found in a good sideboard. She makes her own indigo to go with the stolen quills and has taken up the habit of writing directly on her skin. Who taught her those words we do not know. There are 3 identifying nonsensical markings that I have seen myself when she has been properly stripped and properly prepared for beatings. Down her left arm reads, "He be a bee to blossom." Down her right all the way to her heel bone, you will find 6 eyes questioning God. Lastly, around her right breast, just like she is Saturn itself, there is a circle of mumbling words no one can quite figure out, not even the parson himself. It reads, "None of us have 300 years." And then these strange initials, A and L. She has so many times I can't keep up. She is the only Negro I got who won't fall on her knees and pray, even if I beat her all day. If you find her, the first thing she will tell you, without asking the Lord or you for permission, it will sound something like this: "The mighty sunshine is my only house of prayer." Her 2 calico dresses are with her for sure, her good straw bonnet, 1 jar of seashells, all stuffed away in my missing small French grip. She won't answer to Janie or Dambala. Even though that's what the rest of the Negroes call her, you may beat and mark her freely. That is not my concern. Strip her down, just do not kill her. Return her to me. My everyday life is not the same without her. She is tangled up and touched in the head, unbought and unbowed and unbossed, some might say, but I am doing my part in this bargain. Black and yellow, she simply will not adjust. But there is still time, and I am still a young woman with weapons of my own. Bring her back to me. Give me my chance to break her. That is what I'm paying you for. The future, the one she nor I have never seen before. If you see her on the road, make sure you stop her good. She will try her breakaway by looking her most mean and impressive self. In that quick moment, she can size you up like a lightning bolt does the empty sky. Next thing you know, you will be completely off the hunt and looking for your daddy's name down in the dirt. She will tell you, go on and ask her horse if she is who you believe her to be, but don't you move an inch. Be aware of her trying to speak her mind around you. There is a spoken lasso magic about her that is well worth the money in this pot. If a good iron bit sits lonely in the back of your wagon doing nothing, I pray you will throw her sassy backside down and push it down across her face before the long ride back to me. Let her breathe, but nothing more. Cover her singing lips down fast like a candle snuffer. Close down the mouth that honeys out a new story every day, just like she pulled it down from the Milky Way. She is so beguiling you will forget all plantation lullabies and how much blood your hands have drawn in this life. I tell you, close her quick with whatever you have. Iron cannonballs, chicken feathers, tar babies, croaker sack pieces, barbed wire, loblolly vines. Just close it, you hear? If you do not, she will start to sing and whistle. And so will you, and then the day will change for sure. She will tell you of lost cities, of Indians named Mayans, canoes in a river moving by themselves, High John the great and conquering nigger. Things so black and fine you will stare and forget and lose your place and the runaway work at hand, all that you had on your mind before. She opened up with her mouth, her fluent silk sewn Negro talk will tangle you up. It will be full of that double descriptive mesmerizing chatter that you can hear them in the field singing out to each other every day. Hot boiling, sit and chair, high tall, lead little, journal book, heaven, horizon. What kind of sense it make to say the same thing twice? Her tongue is no different from the rest, but accompanied by banjo it arrives, with bees and butterflies in tow. The night before she flew away, I went looking for her. She was sent to bring the iron kettle back to the serving table for the guests, but instead I found her on the veranda, all the wooden shutters thrown back and open wide. Standing there with the kettle snug in her arms, 3 slants of light dancing in on her iron yellow jaw. and looking out over my daddy's land, out all the way even to where the orange strings of last light set down along the last bit of green and canary. Right where I like to look myself at the end of the day, all the way across the newspaper, papering on the row, right there where the river breaks in two, she was staring, ignoring me with pointy, perky eyes, just like it was all hers. Everything she could see and not see, all hers. A hurricane of eyes set on something great and beyond my voice, just like she was a white woman with a shucked and shining world all her own to ponder. She did not move. Not even when I called her name, and I called them all, then spun her around and slapped her good before her feet were in place, trying to bring her to her yellow senses. The kettle flew into the window and she twisted herself away. That's about when she started up her gibberish singing song. Oh, the white girl ride in a Cadillac, the yellow girl ride in the same. The black girl ride in a rusty Ford, but she get there just the same. One yellow gal with a black tongue riding on a white horse talking about something called riding a Cadillac has gone missing. She may be carrying a pocket compass with a long stem of white cotton across her ear, arms and breasts tattooed in the colors of the sky. Last seen on a back road, heading further, deeper south. If you find her, please, ma'am or sir, return her to me. She is wise, wicked in the old, old way of her kind, and like no other, and therefore can belong to no other. I owns her. She is mine. If you hold her till I get there, the $1,500 will be yours. Zora Neale Hurston. So we are in a sacred space. This is the first building after Reconstruction in these parts, as my grandmother would say, that was designed and paid for and built by black folk. And there are not many places like this left. Some have seen fit to tear them down to the ground. And so I want you to know that, we want you to know that before you leave here. This is a sacred space. And it talks, the fact that we are in this space tonight has a lot to do with Vaughn Fielder. She chose it intentionally. And that should tell you something about her. I saw a photograph of a black woman walking 1,000 miles from the deep south to Washington, D.C., topless, with a scar across her chest. Topless in America, and the epigraph, modesty is a lie. Maya Angelou. She is a girly girl born with a beautiful pelvis. Living in New Orleans, 2 feet, 2 breasts, 8 children, curvaceous and cute. She turns heads every day, social works to pay the bills. Whispers to God, she's in her 40s when God whispers back that bewildering 3rd generation stage 2 pummeling black woman news. It's $5,000 a month to stay alive. She loses her tatas, job, car, house. The long scar on her chest runs horizontal with the horizon. She sews her eyes down its back. A hot air balloon lifts her through chemotherapy beyond despair, arriving in Biloxi. Somewhere along the road to 50, she overhears that the pelvis is what makes us human. Her mother hands over black on black sneakers with an ancestral silver toe and hip silver swoosh. Her grandmother loans her a pair of loud lime green South African Baliga socks. Hit the road, daughter. The girly girl knows she doesn't need breasts to walk or breasts to be a girly girl. With both hands, she raises her blouse over her head. The sun paints her chest the same shade of girl that it did 40 years before when she was just 8 and just an unknown girl on a beach, topless, with breasts still sleeping and the bones curl just below her clavicle. When a black woman decides to walk topless for 1,034 miles, things get aligned. Ears line up over shoulders, shoulders over hips, hips over knees. Her spine is soon shot out of a cannon, just like the 1850 insomniac Harriet. Her nipples calibrating due north and freedom instead of sleep. When a black woman makes up her mind to walk topless for 1,034 miles, a film crew can change their mind, but a daughter's witnessing eyes are irreversible. Madeline's 8-year-old breasts are still in the deep sleep of girlhood when they leave, just like retro girly girl back on the beach. She sets sail from Biloxi on April 30th. Her ghost nipples spin as dual compass. 5 miles an hour, 8 hours a day for 60 days, topless in the sun and the driving rain. The Republic's electronic book of faces hears the news and goes neon. 10 million eyes dial in. The first of 12 police cars stop her. She smiles and holds a class in indecent exposure along the side of the road. There are no Toni Morrison benches to hold them, so they stand. Resolution: it's not illegal for her shirt to be off if her nipples are only ghosts. Following overhead, but not really there, on the police car radio, NPR is interviewing John Napier, paleontologist. The topic is walking. As the policemen finish up their selfie with the topless woman who can still turn her head, they do not hear the paleontologist say, human walking is unique. The body, step by step, teeters on the edge of catastrophe. The mother-daughter team is back on the road. The girly girl has 100 ligaments in each of her feet. Her transverse arch is the major weight-bearing bridge in her body. Her Achilles is her most critical tendon, running from her calf muscle to the back of her heel, helping her push off with her toes and propel her body towards senators and marble halls and the back of Madeline's stroller. With each step she takes, a new beauty shop is under construction. This one will not be designed and assembled by the chairman of the board of the Tatas. She moves 1 foot in front of the other. Highway 29, Highway 1, the Jefferson Davis Highway, the Warren Abernathy Road, the Blue Star Highway, the monument to the signer of the Declaration of Independence in Georgia, the Indian Mounds of North Carolina. The topless girl keeps an eye out for the June Jordan Expressway, the Audre Lorde Highway, the Gilder Radnor Overpass. The 7th of 12 police cars pulls up alongside Madeline's stroller. In each new jurisdiction, the men and women in blue want to have a word with her, want to survey the topography of her chest, want answers she's patiently already given 7 times before. They want to make sure there is no indecent exposure taking place on the Jefferson Davis Highway North. Another class on the same topic is held. Over and over, the girly girl explains that wanting to live is legal in every state. For 60 days, the sneering, breathtaking rocky road exhausts of 18-wheelers coats her mouth. Through dust, tar, and fumes, she passes used car lots, daydreaming of driving the rest of the way in a canary yellow Mustang convertible. There are strip malls, Mexican restaurants, neon motel signs, advertising $20 a night rooms, and 19 Holy Ghost praise houses leaning in with tambourine. The handmaidens of 40,290 women take turns rubbing her legs down every night. Mother and Madeline munch on 5 pounds of peaches, 4 pounds of plums. They talk about school and family and how different the rain feels when you cannot run from it. The mother-daughter train stops to read historical markers from Biloxi to Washington, D.C. The woman who has been known to turn ahead wants Madeline to know how the world was made and how it can be made differently. She does not drink enough water. It's April, it's May, it's June, the pavement melts beneath their feet. The asphalt doesn't care that she doesn't have breasts. It doesn't care that Madeline is 8. The blisters, callous feet, the inside of her palms grow stones. Everything is bloody. She keeps pushing Madeline's tiny sleeping breast on up the road. It's a Tar Beach voyage, and Madeline will not be next. The ghosts of 40,290 dead women whisper that they have voted to take their tops off too. Solidarity forever. Mother and daughter eat Little Debbie pies and suck on firecracker popsicles until their lips are red, white, and blue. Strangers following them on the Republic's electronic book of faces pull up alongside for selfies. They deposit small tubs of watermelon, a box of KFC, a foil bag of Chick-fil-A. Another woman drops off a homemade plate made from her own dinner pots. The gravel on the road hitchhikes a ride inside their shoes. The pommeling rain turns the Jefferson Davis Highway into a sliding mud pit of summer quicksand. The girly girl's breastplate, complete with horizon scar, has been staring back at the sun and the rain for 45 uncommon days. What does the world see when a black woman accustomed to being a woman and turning heads takes off her top and walks 1,034 miles across America up a highway named for the President of the Confederacy? A woman teetering on the edge of catastrophe? A girly girl with her missing ghost nipples now tuning forks turned toward freedom? She's a woman they cannot arrest for not having what they believe she should have in order to be called a woman. The burning summer rain sizzles on the hot asphalt. The sun bakes their two backs into a portrait of two thirsty marigolds climbing. A truck door swings open by mistake, hitting the girly girl as it passes. Pitch and roll, girly girl, get up. A woman who has refused her own catastrophe is walking across America with her daughter. Police car number 12 arrives. Madeline is asleep. Why don't they talk to each other on their blue wave radios? Can't someone dispatch the update? A black woman walking topless across America is not illegal. The girly girl's pelvis evolved 1.9 million years ago. This noble, soldered saddle of bones is what makes us stand upright. Helps us change direction, spin, swivel, adjust, reach, reconfigure when we find we need to march on and not crumble. The long column of our human body requires the marvel of the pelvis to conduct when all else fails. The missing tatas are not what matter. The pelvis matters. The dead women of the chorus of breast cancer matter. God finding the girly girl on the beach and whispering, "Go topless," in her ear matters. Her mind is 1,034 miles away on the marble steps of Congress, waiting for the rest of herself to arrive. Dear Senator, you don't know me, but my pelvis is 1.9 million years old, and 60,290 women with similar pelvises just like mine received a new breast cancer diagnosis in 2015. And 40,290 died of the disease. I would like a minute of your time. I did not fly here. My testimony was not subpoenaed. I am not the kind of woman to bear all, but I have walked topless to show what I will not hide. When her breasts were cut away, she decided to travel light. She packed nothing of excess, only essentials: firecracker popsicles, peaches, intact pelvis, sweet oil of Madeline, 3 changes of clothing, a cell phone, a stroller, and her private whispered, daily, dear God. Her prayers fueled by the power of electrolytes and the salt and pepper kindness of strangers. In the blazing summer sun, the sweet Georgia peaches go down easy in the warmth of mother and daughter mouths. You could still be alive without your breasts, she tells the camera. I'm still beautiful, she tells a reporter. The girly girl is proclaiming, I am certainly no less a woman. The woman who can still turn her head is showing the world what a woman's body looks like when war has been declared on the mountaintops of her body. The look of more than catastrophe. How the curve of the human spine will absorb the sad shock of news it did not want to hear. The magic of bipedal locomotion and strong knees when we stand it up, then hold out our arms and say, walk, damn it. The breastless body in full sail, moving the wheels of the determined mind, the orchestra of the pelvis, singing from the hymnal of courage, page 24 through 28, what it means to be woman and opening a new beauty shop without permit, license, or permission. The birthday sunrise of the girly girl arrives. It's June 30th, her birthday. She pushes Madeline's stroller past Quantico, the Pentagon, the 14th Street Bridge, the steps of the Capitol see her coming. Madeline stands up there at the inn. The girly girl has arrived. Senator, thank you for seeing me. Popsicle? Peach? What say you about a cure? Thank you very much.